If you've never heard the name Tim Noakes, I encourage you to look into his research and his findings. In the early 2000s, this MD and sports scientist came up with a term called the central governor. And this term really flew in the face of modern theory on what causes the human body to slow down in fatigue. Now, up until this point, most sports scientists believed that fatigue and us ultimately slowing down happened due to some catastrophic failure of one of our body systems. Now, Tim Noakes came along and turned this whole thing upside down. And instead of believing that things like lactate forming in the muscles or a rise in core body temperature or muscle failure is what ultimately causes us to slow down, he said that the central governor, which is also known as your brain, is what causes you to slow down. And these things, these physiological responses are simply signals to tell your brain that it is uncomfortable and that you need to slow down. The brain at that point causes the body to slow down to protect itself. This research is backed up by another study that I've always cited, which is a study where they had a group of cyclists ride their bikes as hard as they could until they got to the point where they could not pedal another turn of the pedal stroke. And when the cyclists self-proclaimed that they were completely done, that they could not go any further, the researcher said, "Now sprint." Every single one of those cyclists were able to muster another little bit of effort to be able to sprint at some capacity after they said their body had completely shut down. What this says is that their mind told them to stop before their body actually reached that catastrophic failure. Now, if this is true, and Tim Noakes' research is true, and I truly believe that it is, this means amazing things for your training. And it's something that you need to realize and focus on with your training. Now, I am not saying that every one of us can go out and break the 2-hour marathon barrier. We don't all have that genetic ability. But what I am saying is that what is limiting you from reaching your true potential as an athlete, your true genetic potential as an athlete, is your mind. And if we can tap into ignoring these physiological signals just a tad bit longer, just get a little percent further, then we will reach a level of performance that you don't currently know is possible. So, what I want to ask you today is, what is the most important benefit of you going out and training? What is the most important benefit of that speed session that you're going to do on the track this afternoon, or those hard intervals that you're going to be doing on the bike? I believe that the true benefit, or the biggest benefit, is by training your mind. Yes, your body is going to improve, but your mind is going to be taught how to ignore those signals and go one step further towards your potential.